It's a good news day for Laura Milford. Laura spent 14 years as a member of FlyBe cabin crew. When the airline collapsed in January, she and all her colleagues lost their jobs.
I've done it my whole young working life. I've been there, so 14 years is a long time, and you never even think that you'd ever be doing something else. So it is such a shock to be put in that sort of position.
Laura was on board the last ever FlyBe plane to land at Exeter Airport back in March. Just days later, she was leading her colleagues, dressed in their distinctive purple uniforms, into a summit meeting with their unions.
I think everyone held on to a little bit of hope every time they saw something come up on the news or on Facebook or something. But it's being a little bit more cemented now that something might actually come of this. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but it's the first bit of positivity that's come out of the aviation industry in about 7 months.
Stephen was a FlyBe pilot before the collapse. He was about to complete the purchase of his first house. That fell through, and then the UK was plunged into lockdown. He says the pandemic has left the airline industry reeling.
We were the first casualty, and I think at that stage none of us really knew what was going to happen on a global scale. There's no guarantees of anything. There's been no job offers, there's been no talk of where they're going to be based, size, anything like that. So it's a case of, let's not get ahead of myself in terms of hope, but certainly it's a really positive piece of news today.
The new owners have described FlyBe as an iconic brand and say that while the airline will be smaller than before, it will bring back some of the jobs that were lost and boost local economies, although it's not yet clear what role Exeter Airport will have to play.
We have the local skills, we have the local infrastructure to help FlyBe get back to business. I hope FlyBe is brought home to Devon, bringing jobs, investments and flights back to Exeter Airport. That will be a real result.
It's actually a perfectly good time to start a new airline. Lots of slots at airports, lots of cheap aircraft, lots of great staff around. And maybe they just thought, well, it would be nice to have a familiar name. So let's start a new airline, but we'll call it FlyBe.
So the FlyBe name lives on. And just maybe we could see it in the skies above us once again. Sam Blackledge, ITV News in Exeter.